that are making all these great prosthetic feet, and College Park being one of them. And we have over 20 feet that we manufacture, and they all do something different. So depending on your activity level, we got something that's really going to greatly improve the quality of your life. But we want you to try it. We want you to test it first to make sure that it's a great fit for you. Didn't have this luxury back in the day. We did not have it. What you got from your prosthetist is what you took home. But now you get to try it, for 30 days and say, you know what? This is a really great foot. I can dance. I can go play football out in the front yard with my grandkids or my kids, or I can go hiking, I can swim. I can do whatever it is that I want to do. Or, you know what? This is really not the foot that I expected it to be. There's some products out there, Cosi, that were hyped up. I ain't gonna put no names out there, right? But there were some feet out there that, I thought, I was like, man, all the hype that everybody's talking about these feet, So now I got a chance to try them, and I expected to really levitate. I was like, man, I'm gonna put these things on. Like, man, are you serious? After I took a couple steps in them, I said, man, this is garbage. Yeah. And what's so special about it? Yeah. And it's a lot of this marketing hype. So make your own decision. You have rights as amputee end users. You have rights. And if your prosthetist suggests a particular prosthetic foot for you, take it into consideration, but also do your own research. Talk to your friends. Social media is a really great resource to go out and reach other people to get information about products that you may be interested in trying. So ask those questions. There's a ton of amputee support group pages here on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Cosi is a wealth of information. You guys can always email me, and I'll give you the skinny. I pull no punches. I keep it real. I keep it real. I tell the truth all the time. I'm transparent. So try our products. College Park has got our eval program. Your prosthetist will contact College Park, and you will request, or he or she will request, the specific prosthetic foot that you want to try. And based on your specifications, your physical specs, your activity level, all that kind of stuff, we will hand build you that specific foot. We don't have that foot sitting on a shelf collecting dust. No, we build it to your specs. It is your personal custom foot built specifically for you. And then we mail it to you, or we mail it to your prosthetist, and your prosthetist fits you. Mm-hmm. And then you take it home and you wear it. If you like it, then you buy it. If you don't, you send it back.
And guys, this is something, those of you who have been watching me for more than 5 minutes, you know that I hammer this one in. And my favorite analogy is, when you go buy a car, you test drive it.
That's right.
This is the foot you're going to be waking up to for the next 3 to 5 years.
That's right.
So why would you not give yourself this opportunity? And I'm going to point out this comment from Robert. Kristen, my girl Kristen, she's going to be putting up the link to the eval program, guys. I apologize for those of you who are watching on your phone and you can't do the QR code scan. So she's going to post the link for you so that you can kind of right click and check it out later. Robert mentioned here, I was not given an option on my foot. The prosthetist just ordered one, and that's what I got. I hear this story a lot, and it makes my blood boil. Okay. Yep. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade on prosthetists, because I want to think that prosthetist probably thought, you know what, this will be the best foot for this individual. I've taken into account all of their life. But you know what? You're the one who can advocate for yourself. And I tell people, when you go to see your prosthetist for that first time, you need to let them know about all the activities that you used to do before you became an amputee, all the activities you've been doing since you became an amputee, and the activities that you want to be able to do. And then you get your physical therapist into the fight, because we can tell them, this is how they're moving. This is how we anticipate they're going to be able to move. And this is the kind of foot we need, whether we need more movement, whether we need more stability, whether we need more shock absorption, whatever the case may be. Okay. And then go trial at least 2.
Yes.
Absolutely. At least 2. Yep. Okay. And Reggie's always getting a phone call from me, because he really is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to everything prosthetics, but especially prosthetic feet. And for me, I know this much of the prosthetic foot world because there's hundreds of feet out on the market, and he's been there, done that, tested everything. So you know, guys, if you're watching this show, I'm putting it on you. You don't have an excuse.
You have rights
to not get this knowledge.
That's right.
Okay. So now you know where you need to go to get some of this knowledge. Okay.
Yep.
And I know College Park isn't the only one who does eval programs. So I'm just putting it out there, but I cannot speak for other companies because I am not partnered with other companies, but I will speak for College Park, and I will say they offer that 30-day trial program. And it's amazing. Somebody else asked, what about if you're working with the VA? Yes, it works for the VA as well. I've actually had a couple of folks that they were trialing out different feet. I'm thinking of a very, very recent example. So yes, it works. And if your prosthetist is not willing to let you trial out a foot,
go get you another prosthetist.
come talk to me and I'll help you find someone else.
Yep.
And I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers when I say that, but I don't care. If he can wear an Eagles shirt on my show,
beat it.
And I can tell him to
Tell the prosthetist, beat it.
Beat it.
Yep. Go get you another one.
So terrible.
My prosthetist actually is in Ohio, and I live, from the Pennsylvania area, and well, I just transitioned to another state. But if I need parts or if I need service or adjustments or something like that, I have to get on a plane and go see. And I have a very good. She's like a second mom to me, and she's an amputee. And she's in California, and she has in the past flown all the way over to the East Coast to Pennsylvania to go see her prosthetist, and then flown all the way back to California. Now, obviously, she has the resources to do that. Not everybody has those types of resources. Some of us have, logistic issues, mobility issues. You can't get on an airplane, the money incurred, the costs, all that kind of stuff. It's not feasible. But if your prosthetist is not giving you the service that you rightly deserve, go find you one that will.
Yeah.
And me personally, I like female prosthetists for a number of different reasons.
For the cute ones?
Yes. Yes. No, women, you know what? To be honest, I know, it's softball through at you. To be honest with you, women pay attention to detail a lot more than men do, generally speaking. And me being a bilateral amputee, when I first signed up with my prosthetist, Prosthetic Design, and one of my legs he cast, my prosthetist cast, and then one of my legs he had his assistant cast, who was a woman. And I'm sitting there saying, man, because up until this point, I had all I ever saw of prosthetists were white males. And I'm like, man, she gonna mess this up, and I know this is gonna be a waste, blah blah. And little did I know,
how that humble pie taste.
Girlfriend knocked it out of the park, and her socket was way more comfortable than his socket. And I was like, can we get her to do my other one? So yeah, humble pie was good. Humble pie was good.
No, and guys, I talk a lot about this, not because I'm throwing shade on prosthetists, but because I've worked with phenomenal prosthetists who just go above and beyond. Not above and beyond. They serve their patients the way they're meant to be served. So when I hear about a case where the person's not receiving the service that they need. All right, let's see. Hey, Benny, happy belated birthday to you, Benny. All right, guys. So, wait, we have a winner. Sorry. Okay. I have my folks working behind the scenes helping me with this part. We've got Jody Stein. Jody, you are the winner for the second giveaway. Congrats, Mama. I know you know where to find me because I know you know my email, but I'm going to put it out here anyways. Please email me your t-shirt size. All right. And there's my email. And guys, for those of you, especially who are new to the show, this show is meant for you in the amputee community, whether you're an amputee, a clinician who serves amputees, a family member, or a caregiver. And this show is here to serve you and provide you with information. And if I don't have answers, I go to credible sources like my buddy Reggie, College Park, and other folks that I know in the community to find you the answers that you need. So this is one of the many, many ways that you can communicate with me is my email. It goes directly to me. It does not go to anybody else, and I answer these all myself. There's 40 million different ways to communicate with me. This is one of them, so feel free to send me your questions this way. All right, moving along. Hang on. I got to get rid of this QR. Yeah. Okay, back. Next, let's talk about the Sterling.
Okay.
So College Park College Park has been on a roll, man. These past couple of years,
knocking stuff out
they
of
are
the
like
park.
cranking stuff out. I cannot, like, between how many feet? Like 3 or 4 feet?
Yeah, we made like 3,
In
no,
1
like
year.
4 feet.
4 feet.
Well, yeah, over a little over a year, we dropped like 4 different products. New people.
It's crazy. And we got
knees,
yes,
microprocessor knees got
nice
coming out.
The icon.
Yeah.
Those of you guys who are my above the knee amputees, remember the word icon, because that's the new microprocessor knee by College Park. I've got a lot of happy prosthetists with that one.
Yeah, and that icon
Yeah.
actually can serve K2 to K4 patients. So
Yeah.
it's got a really cool app that the end user can use. Not only the prosthetist uses the app, but the end user uses it as well. So the prosthetist will initially set it up, and then as you get home, you can dial in and fine tune the extension and the flexion and the speed of the knee, and you know, it's really, really cool. It's got a really cool user interface. And while I'm on that topic, we have a new foot that's dropping soon.
I know.
Called the Odyssey IQ. So we got a new microprocessor foot that's dropping, the Odyssey IQ. It'll be out soon. I beta tested it last year. It's a really low profile microprocessor foot based around our proven and popular Odyssey design, hydraulic foot. And I can tell you, it's a really comfortable. The tagline for the Odyssey IQ is "Work smarter, not harder," because the foot does a lot of the work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got like little servo motors in the foot that is actually plantar flexing and dorsiflexing. It's really good for going up and down inclines. So when I was beta testing it, you know, we have all these different structures and stuff, ramps and stairs out at College Park, and you know, they have they're collecting data as I'm walking up and down, back and forth, up and down, back and forth, and just going up and down the ramps. You know, the foot actually does a lot of the work for you. So if those of you who are lazy that don't want to walk, you want your foot to do the walking for you, you know, check out the Odyssey IQ dropping soon.
I need to come because we're doing a show on the Odyssey.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Who wants to see Reggie come back? Let's put him on the spot right now. And even those of you who are not Eagles fans, I want you to vote as well. Who wants to see Reggie come back later on? I think it's in the fall. We're going to be doing a whole show on their new foot, and we're going to be doing a prosthetic foot show because y'all know I love to do my shows on prosthetic feet. How many of y'all want to see Reggie? Y'all better start putting in the comment section because, you know.
No, I got your back, Cosi. Whatever you need me to do, I'm always going to have you back because you do so much for our community. But yeah, we have this new liner, the Sterling liner. It's a TPE gel liner. And I beta tested this liner for about a good 4 or 5 months, actually. I am not a huge fan of TPE gel. In full transparency, I have never been a gel fan. Just because I think, prior to wearing this liner, I think that I was never truly fit with a proper sizing. The gel liners that I always wore were pretty thick. Yeah. So we're talking maybe 6, 9 millimeter. This particular liner comes in 3, 6, and 9 millimeter. I prefer a thinner liner, and I think I've always been fit. When I wore gel, I was always fit with a thicker liner. So when I put the liner on and I got up and started walking, it's hella comfortable. It's, you know, it's like being in a luxury car. You know, it's really soft and squishy and smooth, and you feel like you can walk 20 miles. But the downside of that for me was I lost proprioception. Okay. And for me, proprioception was way more important than this added comfort level. I didn't know where I was. It felt like I was not truly connected to my prosthesis. So there was a high level of dampening in between my residual limb and the hard socket. And I lost some sensation from my foot. I'm fortunate to where I have some, you know, good Lord, man, in all his wisdom, when we lose a body part, then these other body parts that we have, the senses heighten. Like people lose their sight, then all of a sudden they hear things a whole lot better. They can smell things a whole lot better. When I lost my feet, then the senses or the nerve endings and all around my residual limbs got a whole lot more sensitive. So I can step on stuff and I can tell you exactly like where it is. Not maybe exactly, but I can know that I'm stepping on something like a quarter or a piece of wood or something. When I wore these thick gel liners, I lost all that. Yeah, and I did not like that. I was like, man, this is too much dampening for me. So I went back to silicone, and silicone has really been my friend. But until I tried the Sterling TP gel liner, I was like, okay, I got comfort. I had added comfort, and I didn't lose my proprioception. So that was like a win-win. And I learned something. I was like, okay, well, maybe gel can be my best friend. And these liners are very, well, I'm not going to say they're very tacky, but they have a increased level of tackiness with the gel material, and they stick to your skin very well. Okay, so and that's what you want to a point. Okay, if you got something that's sticking to your skin like Gorilla Glue,
no way, no.
That ain't good.
No.
All right. So there's got to be a line there. It's got to be a point, because you're going to start tearing the skin off and creating blisters if if it's too tacky. But there's a really good level. It's a good blend, I guess, with the level of tackiness from this liner, the level of cushion, which adds comfort, and yeah, I don't know what else I want to talk about. It's a really great liner. And it's got a fabric outer cover, which is really cool. This one of the liners that I used to wear back in the day was just basically all all silicone on the inside and all silicone on the outside. So my clothes would get stuck to the outside. And it was a real pain in the butt.
And this one's meant to be snag resistant. Specifically, the outside was designed
to
prevent snagging from happening.
Exactly.
I've heard that from patients as well, that they're just like things get caught on their liner. So this is a really cool liner for those of you that would like to try a TPE gel liner. And the added comfort, like I said, was a definite plus over the silicone that I'm so used to wearing. So really, really good product. Comes in small, medium, large, extra large, and I think extra large. You'd have to get your prosthetist to measure the circumference of your residual limb, and he or she can then make the distinction or make the determination of what size you would need, and also the thickness, 3, 6, or 9 millimeter. Okay, so it does come in. That was going to be my next question, is what thickness does it come in? And Emily's asking a good question. Why do they make some gels thicker than others? What is the purpose of having different thickness? So
you tell me.
I would be thinking it's just comfort. Some people might need a little more.
So TPE gel, I'm not a scientist, and I guess our engineers who developed all these liners could give you better answers for this, but TPE gel conforms to bony protrusions. A lot of us have bony protrusions, or we may have, like I have a lipoma that's developing on one of my legs, a little knot that's developing. It's just from walking 100 million steps over the last 46 years. So there's little irregularities that some of us have with our residual limbs. And that gel, that TPE gel, has really good conforming properties, and it'll conform over these irregularities in your prosthetic, in your residual limb. So I hope that answered your question. I think it did. Yeah. For Emily. Why she say No, and I'm just trying to, guys. Yes, I am on YouTube, and I do apologize. Some of you were looking for me on YouTube, and YouTube was not wanting to cooperate, so I was finally able to connect to YouTube. We got Johnny V from Poughkeepsie, New York. Have you met Johnny V? I know Johnny V. He's a rock star. Amazing. He's a rock star. Rocco Vaca. Yeah, he's a rock star. So Johnny's asking, how's that Cosi flan? He did not eat my flan. Yeah. Around with the big V. Flan got me. I ate flan back in the early 2000s. I got sick, so I stay away from it. So I was burping eggs for 3 days. I was like, nah, I'm good.
So if you
Looked
guys
good,
wonder
smelled
what
good. I'm sure it was delicious. I had a cookie. She made cookies too.
Yeah, if you guys are wondering what in the world we're talking about, I posted a reel shortly, a little while before you came,
Okay.
about turning the flan. I love to cook, guys. So we made dinner. I made dinner
Yeah,
for
she had
Jade.
really good Cuban food.
And
It
I
was good.
made a whole Cuban spread, and very popular Cuban dessert is flan. So I flipped it, came out right. I'm all proud of my flan. And then I sit it in front of Reggie, and he goes, I don't eat flan.
I don't know
I'm
about
like,
that stuff. No. I'm
so
good.
he got chocolate chip. He got homemade chocolate chip
He's
cookies.
good.
You still got homemade
Yeah.
chocolate chip cookies, but no flan. So Johnny, I think you're going to have to come and help me with that one next time. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, I always like to talk about the hygiene, donning and doffing, the nuts and bolts of liner. This is something that I go over with my patients in detail when they start with me. I find that either perhaps a clinician prior to me did not go into quite the detail, or sometimes people need to hear things 2 or 3 times for it to really sink in. So again, especially those of you who are starting out with prosthetic care, your prosthetist and your physical therapist should be talking to you about how to put on the liner properly, how to do the hygiene with it, how to do the proper hygiene on your residual limb to keep that skin nice and healthy. So we've got some great demonstrations right here.
So what I do daily, that I learned through School of Hard Knocks, is I'm a sweater. So when I'm in a climate that's really hot and humid, and if I'm super active, then I'm going to sweat. Now, prior to me using liners, like I said earlier in the show, that I would just put a prosthetic sock right over top of my residual limb into a hard socket, and that's how I walked. And all that sweat would go from my body into the sock and then collect in the bottom of my socket. So I'd take my leg off and I could just turn my socket upside down and all this sweat would just pour out. So now I want you to think about all that sweat getting captured inside of this liner, okay? And that's a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. If you have any skin breakdowns, then that's a perfect breeding ground for infection, for possible infections. So it's really, really important for us as amputees to stay up on our liner health as well as our skin health. What I like to do is I like to clean my liners at least once a day, at least, depending on my activity level. So if I'm stuck in the house, if it's wintertime, during COVID, when we were all stuck inside, I wasn't moving much. Everything was virtual, on the computer, watching TV, playing video games, whatever. I would clean my liners like once a day because I wasn't moving much and I wasn't sweating. But a typical day for me, I'm getting a lot of steps, and a lot of you are very active. You're getting 10,000 steps or however many steps you're getting, and you're sweating. You need to clean your liners more than once a day. And I'm talking like with soap and water. I use like an antibacterial soap on a washcloth. I'll take my liner off, obviously, so it's inside out. And this side of the liner, you can actually see some of the sloughed off skin that and sweat and stuff. So I take a washcloth and I'll use soap and water and wash the liner. Rinse it off, pat it dry, put it back on. I'm ready to go. Also, what a lot of people forget to do is they forget to wash their residual limb. You got to wash your leg too, because not only is your liner got a lot of sweat and bacteria and stuff on it, where did it come from? It came from your skin. Yeah. So you got to take care of your skin health. Well, when I'm in the street, one of the things that I do, I travel in my car, and in my travel bag and all, I take me a little teeny bottle of alcohol and water mixture. So, and you can get these travel bottles at Walgreens or Walmart or whatever. And I just fill them up with, like 70% alcohol, put, like maybe 75% alcohol, 75% of 70% alcohol. And then I dilute the rest with water just to cut it down a little bit. And then I take that and I'll take it off. I can be in a restaurant. I can be, I can be out on a date. I mean, I'm sitting here talking and a girl's all into me and stuff. And she knows I'm amputee. And I'm like, yeah, I got to take my leg off here for a second. People in the next like, yo, that is so cool. Look, he popped his leg off. And the little kids he's like RoboCop, And I just spray that liner down as I'm talking, whatever. And I get me a wet washcloth. I have a washcloth I'll keep with me. And then I'll wipe that liner down. And that'll get me through wherever I am out on the go. If I can't wash it down with water, then I'll use that alcohol water spray. like a skin. You got to keep your skin clean, and you got to keep your skin. If you got a brand new liner, Cosi, one of the things that I noticed that is when I'm wearing a brand new liner, and these liners are super tacky, is at the very trailing edge or leading edge is what you want to call, right at this point here as it meets your skin. After wearing the liner for so many days or whatever, you can get these little micro tears.
Yep.
And it'll create a blister. Okay. Right up along the edge here. I know a lot of you have experienced that.
A heat rash. A lot of people tell me they
They
get
have
that
a
little
rash,
pin,
right
little
around-
pin rash.
Yep, right around the ring.
the circumference.
Yep. And a lot of prosthetists have tools where they'll cut a wavy design around here to alleviate that circumference or that ring. But I use Monostat. I personally use Monostat anti-chafing powder. What is this? Monostat chafing relief powder gel.
Yep.
So I'll just squirt a little bit of this in my hand, and I rub it around my thigh where the liner meets in the end right there. I put it on, and that creates a little barrier between the tackiness of the liner and my skin. So it won't you won't have those micro tears. You won't develop blisters. You don't have any of this. You could use baby powder if you're in a pinch. You get you some baby powder, rub it around your limb, your leg, and that'll create a barrier so that you're reducing the amount of tackiness or tearing or grabbing that the liner will do. And then there's other products.
Yeah. You guys know that I like a lot of you use the Vital Fit,
the
liquid to powder lotion. Works like a gem for that as
Mhm.
well, right there.
Yep.
What Reggie was just mentioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do whatever you got to do. But the most important thing is to be proactive. You got to stay up on your limb health to keep your limbs clean. That way it keeps you going. And a lot of things,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times I use these, it's like the first time with my new tongue tonight. I don't know why I'm stepping on my words.
It's all
I
that
use
good
these-
Cuban food.
Yeah,
today.
I am
It's
getting, I
hitting
got
me
the
right now.
itis. I ain't gonna lie. I did get a little bit of the itis after I ate her food. I'm like, damn, we got a show to do tonight. I'm kind of, so I use these callus cushions here, and you can get them at Walmart or Walgreens. Like I said, whenever you have a hot spot, like I had a little hot spot on one of my legs, and it was like right here at a pressure spot right here, and it was just from overexertion. You know, I was carrying an engine block or something, or I was doing something stupid that I had no business doing, and I was doing it for too long, and I developed a little pressure sore right there. Nowhere else, limb was totally fine, but I had a pressure sore right there. So whenever I put my leg on and I stood up, I put pressure on that one spot. It's like, hello, I'm here. I'm here to bug you for the next couple of weeks if you don't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get these callus cushions, and they have like an adhesive backing, and I put that one of these callus cushions right over top of that hot spot, and it'll give me a little relief. And even if it didn't, I'm like, I'll put my leg on. It's like, okay, that feels good. If it didn't give me the relief that I was looking for, I'll double up on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put a cushion on top of a cushion to create that much more of a cushion. And that gave me more relief. So these are just something good to have in your stash. I keep them. I buy 2-3 packs of these things. I keep them in my bag because you never know when you're going to need them.
No, those are great. Those
Yeah.
are great. So Van Gregory says, so that's what causes my blisters at the top of my liners. I just don't don them all the way up my leg. Yeah. And the wavy thing that he mentioned, that cutting, again, let your prosthetist do it. But
yeah.
I've seen that work. And it's a wonderful hack right there. Those of you who are my Floridians, sweat is our way of life. That's
Yeah.
all we do. We eat, breathe, and drink. We don't drink sweat, but trying to get it. It's all we do. And we talk a lot about the hacks. The spray bottle hack, that's the one I picked up from Reggie a few years back. And this is the one I give to all my patients as well. They got a little fanny pack. They got their clean socks. And I'm just echoing everything that he is saying because I'm glad somebody else besides me is saying it at least once every 24 hours.
Yeah.
Once every 24
You
hours.
gotta do
The
it.
dirt in there cannot be more than 24 hours old. That's what I would tell my mom.
Yep.
When the kids were little, you know how when you had your kid was little and you bathe them and then 5 minutes later they're dirty again. I would just tell my mom, I was like, you know what? It's less than 24 hours old because I'm not bathing them. Right? So the grime and all that sweat in that liner has to be. And guys, I have done it. I have had patients who come in and they won't listen to me. And in the middle of their session, I will make them take off their liner and I will wash their liner for them. Okay. You gotta wash those liners once every 24 hours and the residual limb. And then just to reiterate, because I'm gonna that spray bottle, that's just to get you through your day.
Yes,
that does not count as the once every 24 hours. That's just to kind of get you through your day. Soap and water, rinse, 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 rinse. And then what happens when you don't rinse enough? You leave residual soap residue. And then you come to your PT clinic with a big old rash on your residual limb. Because I've had that happen, and that caught me by surprise because my patients would say, but I am washing every day. And I'm rinsing. And it's like, you're not rinsing. And that even took me a while to figure that out as a clinician. All right, let's see. We've got, oh, by the way, everybody wants you to come back. So
we'll talk to College Park about that because, they do pay the bills.
And guys, by the way, if we are missing any questions or anything like that, y'all have my email. Please email me and let me say, hey, Cosi, you guys missed my question. What's up? Let's see. Robert says, I just texted my prosthetist about the trial and I'll see his answer soon, I hope. Awesome, guys. And I'm thinking of one of my patients tomorrow that I'm seeing. He's going to be doing the trial on the Voyager. And I am so excited. So excited. It's going to be a whole nother portion there for him. A whole nother level. Let's see. Okay, we got to do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway.
Okay. Giveaway.
We got another shirt, another very cool rebuilt shirt, and maybe we'll throw in his. Actually, one of the people said if they could throw in your jersey so they could burn it. But I don't know.
So I'm going to be flying out tomorrow, and I fly through Dallas Cowboys country, and as a true Eagles fan, I gotta walk through that airport with my Eagles jersey on. And coming here, I sat next to some dude on the plane, and it was so funny. He says, "Man, you sure got a lot of nerve in that Eagles." No, he said, "You sure got a lot of nerve wearing that Eagles jersey here in Dallas." And I just had to laugh because Dallas sucks. They suck. Their team sucks. Their quarterback sucks. I mean, and he's like, I got nerve. Come on. What?
I'm not kidding. I'm not a part of this.
God.
I'm trying to get involved. We need to get
to Erin Andrews.
You got the wrong female co-host here. You need Erin Andrews right now so she can help, defend. Oh my God. So funny.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to flying out tomorrow, going through Dallas. And I hope I get stuck in Dallas so I can walk around the airport. I got lounge access, and I'm gonna go in the lounges and I'm gonna walk around with my Eagles jersey.
So you'd be like,
absolutely I am. Hey, tell them push it.
Yeah.
Push it. Yeah. That's right. Push it.
Yep.
We do it better than anybody.
There we go.
They can't stop that play.
Let it out.
Watch that Super Bowl. February 9th, Saquon Barkley, he's gonna tear it up.
I'm gonna look at this guy, Saquon.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
He's good.
He's phenomenal.
He's kind of good. Okay,
yep.
Or is he hella good? Okay, so we've got. What were we doing? Giveaway.
Oh yeah, giveaway.
Let's do a giveaway. So we're gonna give away Reggie's Eagles jersey. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna give away a rebuilt shirt, which by comparison, no, I'm kidding. This is an awesome shirt, guys. I'm not a t-shirt person. I'm too much of a girly, but I like wearing this t-shirt. So for whatever that's worth. Anyways, scan this code. Okay. It's going to take you to the Sterling liner page on College Park. Okay. You got to work for this one a little bit. You got to tell me how long is the trial period for the Sterling? Because we mentioned you can trial the feet, but you can also trial the liner, which I think is kind of cool.
That's very cool.
I think it's very cool. So I want to see these numbers ticking up for scanning. And yes, I think Kristen, yes, I know Kristen's telling me, don't forget to ask the giveaway question. Yes, I'm asking it, Kristen. Go ahead and also post the link in the comments section for me, dear, for the people who are watching from their phone. There she did. She did it for me. She's ahead of the game right there. They're already posting answers. They didn't even know what the question was. Like, they were trying to guess what the answer was before I asked the question. I love it. Okay, so guys, what is the correct answer for how long can you trial the Sterling liner. If you click on that QR code and you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to find the answer. So put it into the comments section and we're going to pick a winner from there. And in the meantime, let's talk about common donning and doffing, or common troubleshooting. Excuse me, I can't even speak right now. It's all that Eagles talk. It's the Eagles talk, man. It is the troubleshooting problems with liners. So I'm going to start off with my favorite one, especially if you have a pin lock, okay? And you put it on and it doesn't feel right. Okay, so the first thing, and Reggie kind of alluded to this earlier, is when you are putting this on, it has to go onto the correct point on the end of your residual limb. If it's pointing one way, if it's pointing backwards, if it's not in just the right place, or if it's rotated, in some cases, some of my patients will tell me they can notice when it's rotated a little bit, especially if their liner's kind of already worn onto their limb and shaped a little bit to their limb, it's not going to feel right. Okay. So you need to take the entire thing off, which I know is a pain in the butt to do, because I know it's a pain because these things can be a little bit tough to put on in the first place, but you got to take it all the way off. And that includes, see, I'm not as good as this as Reggie is. Turn it inside out all the way. If you're here, that is not enough. It needs to be.
There you go. Yep. There you go.
All the way. Okay. And a lot of it, sometimes when I'm teaching my patients, the new ones, it's a little frustrating. It's trial and error a lot of times, guys. Sometimes we'll put a little mark in there to try to put a little landmark, but you know, you've got to just put it on the same spot every time at the end of your residual limb and roll it all the way up. So what's another troubleshooting issue that you run into?
So what I like to do with the Sterling liner, if you see what College Park has done, is they've labeled the front of the liner with nomenclature, you know, with the name, with the size and all that. And then they have these plus marks in the front. And when I first got these liners, I contacted one of our prosthetists, and I asked him, I said, hey, what are the plus marks for? Why do we have plus marks on the front of the liner? He said that's to distinguish the front of the liner from the back of the liner, because the back of the Sterling liner is tapered. It's not as thick on the back as it is in the front. Okay, so it allows you to bend your knee a lot easier because there's less gel material in the back, so it's tapered. So if you look, it's thinner in the back and thicker in the front,
which is nice, because we had one person here, I think it was Emily, who said that she uses a gel liner and she just feels like it's really bunched up in the back and hard to bend her knee.
Yeah, so that's, you know, a lot of liners are evenly, they're even all the way around, whereas our liner, the Sterling liner, is thinner in the back, which allows you to bend your knee a whole lot easier. Something else that I forgot to mention that helps me out a lot of times, I have two different limbs. You know, I'm a bilateral. One of my limbs is a little tougher than the other limb. One limb has a little more sensitivity on the distal end, down at the very bottom, compared to the other one. It's my right limb is like a truck. It's really, I can, you know, weight bear on it 100%, does not bother me. My left limb, not so much. It's, you know, the nerve endings are a little bit different when they did the amputation. So my left limb a lot of times does not like a lot of stuff grabbing on the bottom of it. Okay. So what I do is I like to break the barrier of the tackiness from the distal end of this liner with something. And that something can be, I don't have anything with me right now, but some material. So I use a 1-ply sock. I'll use, if I don't have a 1-ply sock, I'll use maybe a pair of pantyhose, a women's pantyhose, and the foot part, I'll cut that part out just enough to fit over the bottom distal end of my residual limb. And then I don the liner over top of that. So that 1-ply sock or that
like a
nylon sheath breaks all that tacky adhesion from the distal end from the liner and adds another layer of comfort. And then you just roll it right up over top of your residual limb as you normally would. And I do that with both of my limbs now, and I find it just keeps the bottom of my residual limbs nice and healthy. And prior to that, I mean, there was times where I would take my liners off, and the bottoms of my limbs would be just so sore because I had all of this just tugging on the distal end.
Okay.
So now I break that with, just a sheath, or even in a pinch, I've used paper towels. If I didn't have, a sheath or a 1-ply liner, I get a section of paper towel and put it down in here, and then don the liner over top of my residual limb, and I'm breaking that level, that adhesion right there on the distal end. So do what you got to do, people. Do what you got to do
To make it work.
Yep.
That's awesome. So we talked about in terms of bad donning techniques, and I did want to point out, especially for my above the knee amputees, this is especially a tough one because you have all that thigh tissue that kind of tends to move around. It's a little bit harder to kind of just stabilize compared to below the knee. But again, if you put on your leg and your prosthesis and you feel like you're twisted, or you feel like you're just not quite right, usually the problem lies with the liner, and you have to take it off and redon it. So for my AKs, especially, if it rotates just a little bit to the wrong side, sometimes it's just enough to cause that feeling. And yes, it is 30 days. And actually our winner is Val Williams, and actually he goes by Chuck. So Chuck, you are the winner for this evening. Again, I'm going to put my email up here. Chuck, I want you to please email me your t-shirt size and your address, so that I can get you this really, really awesome shirt. Okay. So yes, it is a 30-day trial. So guys, you can try their feet for 30 days and you can try the liner for 30 days, which is pretty amazing.
You know what you should have, Cosi? You should have some sound effects on your show. So when somebody wins something, you get like a little background. Yay, people are clapping. You should do sound effects.
Okay, well, I've got the pre-show cool music. So let me see if I can.
People seem to like that. Yeah. So I would do sound effects. If you have first-time visitors, somebody's first time to your show, you can do a sound effect for a first time. Somebody says, "Hey, it's my first time hearing you." Like, "Hey, I'm telling you." Like, I listen to podcasts a lot on Sirius XM, and there's a specific podcast, and if you're a first-time caller, then they'll acknowledge you with, a sound effect. It's just something cool. But I think and also when he's welcoming new guests on, and he's got the applause in the background, I think you should do some type of applause. You should do that.
Fancy.
You should do that.
So
Martin, that would be cool. I think that would your viewers would like that.
So my boy Martin here was helping me with all the tech stuff and some hints. So Martin, can you figure out how I can do that? Because I don't know how to do that, but I'd like to learn how. That sounds like fun. All right. So we talked about donning techniques, sweat, bunching at getting stuck, specifically pin lock.
Wow.
Pin lock. Okay. And I say this because this has happened to my patients, and when I was there, and I know it's happened to you. So basically, these are wonderful because they anchor you into that socket, but then they can sometimes keep you anchored into that socket. So for me, the biggest one I see is when people don't take the time to really pull their sock. And you have can I use one of your socks?
Sure.
Can we just show folks with your sock?
Yep.
Okay. So he's got a sock on top of his liner. So what happens a lot if you don't put it on right, it gets caught. Well, that's a very extreme example, but it can get caught on one of the little ridges there, right? And then you try to stick the pin in, and you get it in there, and then the sock gets caught into the lock. And that is the biggest pain. So if you cannot gently kind of jiggle and wiggle and do a little tugging and that usual stuff doesn't work. And I've had some patients who are literally stuck in their socket. In the extreme cases, what I tell people to do is you get a cup of water and you pour it on the inside here, and that will release.
Break the seal.
That'll break the seal. And then you need to take it to the prosthetist to have them do it, that you don't end up breaking the pin lock. I've had at least one viewer and one patient who told me they had to sleep overnight for like 2 days because they just didn't know how to take it off. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, why didn't you call me? And they just didn't. I don't know why. I'm like, and they had to sleep in the leg.
It's a shame.
And
that happened to me before, where I got stuck in my lock, or my liners got stuck in the lock. And what I did the first time was I broke the seal. I got some water, a little water bottle. I lifted up the outer edge of the liner and I poured water down in and started massaging it. So I broke that seal and I was able to take my leg out of the liner. what happens now, sometimes if I get stuck or if I ever get caught in between rungs, like Cosi just explained, is I'll put pressure on the lock. So I'll stand up and push the button,
Oh,
because a
okay.
lot of times
Yeah.
that lock is caught, I mean, that pin is caught in between the lock. So instead of, and the more you pull, it's like the harder it stays stuck. So if you stand up and put weight on that pin, then that pin will go down, it'll kind of disengage, and then you can push the button while you have weight on it and push the button and disengage completely. So just play around. Also, if you got a friend, you know, your husband, your wife, or your kids or whatever, can help you do that. If it won't, you know, get you a nice punch and a hammer, and bang that button. Do what you got to do to get out of it. I'm serious. It's going to come open. You take a hammer and a punch. Bang! It's gonna
try the water first.
Yeah, try the water first.
Please try the water
try the water
first. I don't want a bunch of angry prostitutes calling me.
I know.
You told my face.
Busted the lock up.
Oh, geez. And then going along, like the other thing, when you're pushing down into the socket to get the pin to go down, and then pulling up a little bit with the wool sock, I've had to do that sometimes.
Okay.
Whereas the person was like pushing down into it, and I would pull up a little bit with the sock, and that would get it to kind of.
Got you.
Sometimes it works.
Got you.
Sometimes. All right, guys. And I have my last winner here. So the winner of the email sign up, the person who's going to get the book bag, the backpack, not book bag, it's a backpack
really nice.
With all the nice swag,
really
is Tracy Marsh. So Tracy, I don't know if you're here on the show tonight, but we will be reaching out to you. Yeah, I know I do need to get sound effects. Yeah. There we go. Eagles fans. I'll get a bunch of Eagles fans. Roaring, cheering.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it before the show's over. You're gonna hear the Eagles chant. Yeah, you gotta hear it.
So Tracy, we'll be reaching out to you because obviously we have your email address now. Okay, we have done a lot.
Before you're done, I just want to ask one question. So before you're done,
go for it.
All right. So all of you beloved Cosi Talks fans that are out there, you know, you guys, we've had a great show tonight. I love, me and Cosi, we have such great energy, and we really respect each other, and couldn't do this without you. But my one question to everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening right now, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl on February the 9th? Is it going to be the Eagles?
Let's do it.
Or is it going to be Kansas City?
All right.
Okay.
Let's hear it, guys. Get
What
it
do
out
you
there
think?
now.
Who do you want to win? I think all of America wants the Eagles to win.
Let it out.
All of Missouri wants Kansas City to win. You know?
Come on.
But who do you think is actually going to win the Super Bowl? What's your best prediction?
We better Swifties here.
Oh, she doesn't count. She doesn't even think football.
No, I know. All right, guys, let it out. Now's your chance.
Oh, Jane.
Oh, gee, I did. Well, she's been ragging. She's been dogging you this whole
Sean.
show, but she has stuck by. Sean. Oh dear.
Chiefs. I like Randall. Randall knows what's up.
Oh, here we go.
Chiefs by 3.
We've been preaching to a bunch of Chiefs fans already.
Kansas City. Chiefs, go Chiefs. Eagles, of course. Yes. Shelly says Kansas City. Oh, the refs. You know, because Kansas City does pay the refs. Yep. Eagles. I live in PA. No clue. Want my Cardinals. Oh, sorry about your Cardinals. Rooting for the Eagles, but I think the Chiefs will win. Fly, just fly. Yep.
And then, of course, I got to say, who's going to be watching the Super Bowl for the commercials?
Yeah, we're going to be muting the commercials.
Come on.
Eagles for sure. Eagles. Okay. Nice.
All right.
We're pretty even, you know. And a lot of Chiefs fans came through there first, but
Randall's on drug. Now they're going to you're going to start fighting my show, man. We're going to start a riot on the show. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Keep putting those comments in. Chris is like, me. All right, guys. Well, before we wrap up, I do want to say a big thank you to College Park for supporting this show for so many years, for allowing me to have Reggie in the house, literally in the Cosi Talks hot seat tonight, and for everything that they do for the show. So, and thank you to Reggie.
Thank you, Cosi, for all that you do. Yeah, and one thing I've said this before on Cosi's show, and I want to say it again tonight. Whatever prosthesis, whatever prosthetic components that you do use for your legs, for your arms, for whatever the manufacturer's components you use, take a good look at that manufacturer and make sure that they're giving back to your community, our community. Okay. And if they're not, you may want to consider getting another manufacturer's part to use for your prosthesis, because well, for me, it matters when these companies, these corporations support the community that we're a part of. And one of the things that I'm super proud of with College Park Industries is we support the amputee community, and we have been supporting the amputee community for years. And one of the ways that we support the amputee community is by sponsoring the Cosi Talks show, by sponsoring people like myself, and there's a lot of other things that we do behind the scenes that you don't see. But I can tell you from personal experience, we support our amputee community. And if there's a lot of manufacturers out there that don't, and I'm calling them out, and if you use a product from a manufacturer that does not support your community, you need to start supporting other manufacturers that do support your community. So that's all I got to say.
Drop mic right there and said it all right there. So there you have it. I can't say it better myself. Anyways, all right, guys. This comment section is hilarious. I'm going to go back and read a lot of this stuff after we're done with this show. All right, guys. With that being said, I am going to wrap up the show. As always, I want to say thank you for letting us be a part of your lives this evening, especially those of you who are my raging football fans out there. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We will be seeing you guys. I'm never going to live this up.
Fly to
all right, guys.
Eagles.
Are we done? No, we're done.
I'm done.
We're not done. So we're going to say this week, I'll say you guys next week, same Eagle time, same Eagle channel. Push it.